Hello everyone from Crafting and Cruising. I didn't realize I had hit the go live button. I was gonna put a description, but I didn't. So when you hop on, say hi. We're in for a special treat today with a special guest, my husband, Rodney Seiler, is gonna do something really cool. So I am going to try to prop this up. I'm going to be on comments. We have been at the funeral of the mother of our good friend Linda, and then we went to lunch with them, and then we some of us went to a craft fair, and now tonight we're going to eat dinner with them while they're in town. So we've had a busy day, but it's been a good day. The service was beautiful. She was one day shy of her 99th birthday when she passed. So that tells you a lot right there. She lived a long, good life, and it was a very sweet, sweet service. So without further ado, Rodney's going to take over.
All right. What we're going to do today is a little, it's not really stained glass stuff, but it's related to that. We're going to do a little mosaic. And I've never done this before, so we will learn together here, I guess.
Hey Jill, hey Deborah, hey Veronica.
Thank everybody joining in. Thank y'all. I built some frames a while back. Get one out here if I can do it without breaking the glass.
Thank you for sprinkling, Veronica.
We're using some old stuff here. These panes of glass that I have are from the old house not where I was raised as a real kid, but about 16 we built a house down on the farm, and these are the windows. Recently those windows were replaced, so I got some of the old windows, salvaged some of the panes of glass out of it to use. And like if you're framing a picture, the hardest thing to me has always been getting the glass clean enough to put on there, because once you put it on, get your picture and start looking at your fingerprints on the back and all. This is a little bit like that, but probably not as critical.
Hey Barbara, hey Karen.
So what we're going to do, Lisa brought this up a few months ago that she was going to do a little stained glass type project. And as usual, sometimes when I get involved and she'll ask me to do one thing, I'll do 2 or 3 things instead. So I built these little frames, and they're kind of like a picture frame, but they've got a groove on both sides. Anybody know what that groove is called?
A groove.
No.
It's groovy.
You use a rabbit tool to do it, so it's called a rabbit. And it basically cuts out, in this case, about a 1/4 inch or 3/8 of an inch notch around there. You set your glass in it. So I made these little frames up. I've got a couple of them, and there's a reason for that. My plan is, I've got one piece of glass that didn't break. My plan is to put the glass in here and assemble pieces of broken glass on here. This glass is special too. This came, there was a door on Lisa's mother's house that had a stained glass thing that her mother had designed in it with irises and real pretty stained glass.
She didn't have irises. We have irises.
What did she have in? Just
hers was just kind of a mosaic pattern.
Okay. Well, it failed. We saved the old door out of the house, but a windstorm came and blew it over and broke it. So rather than just throw it away, we decided we would salvage the glass out of it. So we got some pretty colors of glass, and some of them are shaped like this, a teardrop shape or raindrop shape, however you want to look at it. Glass half full, glass half empty, whatever. And so some of the shapes like that, but the real pretty ones, there were some cut crystal stones in the middle, things like that I'm not using in this. I'm just using all glass. It's about the same thickness. It's about 1/8 of an inch. There's some deep, deep purple colors.
Hey Tara.
Like this. There's some yellows. There are some light blues, and there's some dark blues. So, and I decided to supplement it, so I went to Hobby Lobby and got some various colors of glass for doing this sort of thing that I can use to fill in if I need to. So I've got one started over here, but I'll show you kind of what I've got in mind. Is I wanted to make Lisa's got a project she was talking about with Debbie Rigg about making a cross pattern. And I saw the one that Debbie did. Excuse me. I'm gonna drink this high test root beer. It was really pretty with different kinds of little tiles that she used. But at first I was not going to use any grout in this, but now I've decided I probably will, but not today. So these little pieces of glass, I just broke them up with some of them already broken, so I took a hammer and put a rag over it so when it hit it didn't break or send glass shards everywhere. But I broke them up pretty small. So now I can reassemble them into different shapes, and we'll try to make something out of it. I think now that you see kind of what the idea is, it won't probably be today, but there's a little bit of a twist at the end. We're going to make, instead of a cross, I'm going to make just a little scene. It's going to be real vague. It's going to be like a sunshine and clouds, maybe a hillside over here. And I thought since we were dealing with the idea of a cross, that instead I might put a little, like a dark place in the hillside, like maybe a cave where there was a tomb or something. But it's going to take a lot of imagination to see this with all these little broken pieces of glass. So that's the components we're working with: a frame, piece of glass, and a frame is rabbited on both sides. So I'm going to pick this piece of glass up before I step on it.
Thank you, sweet Barbara, for those stars. I appreciate you.
Let's get this one out of the way. Now, I kind of got a head start on you. Make sure that I was going to have some chance of this working.
Hey, Dolly.
Is that in the frame pretty well?
Well, hello, Dolly.
There you go. She's got to do that every time.
Well, I'm in a delay, so it's hard for me to see. What I see right here is good, but you're too zoomed in now.
Well, it might not be if I turn it down, but the work's going on.
There you go. Perfect.
How's that, folks?
Perfect. Yes.
Okay. All right, I got it. All right, so let's got to turn toward the camera a little bit. So I thought I'd put in this area to kind of look like a sunshine. I did use one of these little teardrop shaped ones at the start, so we will have to use our imagination a little bit. And I've learned what my plan is to glue these down with a clear glue. And then if I want to come back later and put grout in between these, I'm leaving about 1/8 of an inch in between these so that I can put some grout in there, but I don't know whether it's going to be black or white grout. So that's one thing y'all can be commenting on, is what kind of grout you think I should use. I don't think it's going to look good with no grout. I think it needs something. And then once I get it grouted, I thought it would be good to do a resin pour over the top of it. So we'll see. But that probably won't be today either. Today's probably going to be trying to put this puzzle together. But I think somewhere in here are enough pieces to make the scene that I was talking about. So I've glued some of these yellow ones. I think are all glued. I glued some of these dark ones. I thought a little dark sky up here, and then maybe transition to a little lighter sky, and work our way down. So that's glued. This one's not glued. But here's what I learned. Glues. I got some Gorilla Clear No Foam glue. So it's a lot like Crazy Glue, but it's not as fast. It's more like Crazy Glue gel here. Then I got some Loctite Super Glue, or Crazy Glue is another version of it. This is the regular cyanoacrylate glue that when you stick your fingers together, they're stuck. It's fast. So I've tried both of them on this. This is really nice because once you get it in place, you can go on to the next one real fast. It also is bad if you drop a piece of glass on it, it's stuck. So then you have to work around it. So I think we'll use some of this for a while. The Gorilla Glue, after 5 or 10 minutes, it's set up good. And I think the thinner dots you put on there, the better it is, less of it has to cure. So I'm going to try a little bit right in here. Can everybody see what I'm doing? I'm not trying to do a a lot of glue here. Let's just do any glue.
Hey, Darlene.
Oops, I got glue now. Let's try to drop a glue here. There we go. So you don't have to really, the grout is going to hold things together or apart, however you want to look at it. Years ago when I was working at Jack Daniel's Distillery, we decided to make a little adjustment in our building, the lab I worked in. So we had some masonry people come in there to build a big wall. And I was trying to learn about that sort of thing at the time because I was going to build a house and do all the work myself. So I was talking with the mason, the block mason, and he said, I said something about the mortar in between the blocks holding the blocks apart, holding the blocks together. He corrected me. He said, no, the mortar's not in there to hold the blocks together. It's in there to hold them apart, which probably a little of both is true. But I can still remember that after many years now, probably 45 years since he told me that.
Well, explain that, because I don't understand.
Well, if you just, it's a little bit of both, but if you put the mortar in between the blocks and you push it down until the blocks touch each other, you don't necessarily have a, if anything moves, they can not be adhered real well. So the mortar, you really want a block to stick to the mortar and the next block to stick to the other side of the mortar and not be completely together like you would with like glue or something. You want it creates that interface between there. And if you remember, at least when we used to go to Dominican Republic, around in the United States, most of the mortar joints are about 3/8 of an inch, or about as width of your little finger. But in Dominican Republic, when we worked down there, the mortar joints were almost an inch thick. They used a lot of mortar, and the main reason was that they didn't have the quality control on their materials like we do. They didn't have really fine, their sand might have some gravel mixed in with it, things like that. And when you do that, if you try to lay blocks and you've got gravel in there in place of that gap and hit a gravel, then the gravel holds the blocks apart instead of the mortar, so it's not stuck good.
So did you mean for that blue piece and that yellow piece to go up on in that little area, carved out area?
I'm not sure that's
where you said the rabbit thing was.
Oh, it's the glass goes all the way to the edge, but I'm trying to leave a little bit of a gap around the outside, so when we put the grout in, that the grout will make kind of a line around the whole thing, kind of frame it out. So I was trying not to go completely to the edge.
Okay.
All right, so I'm going to bring, now that we've got the transition from sun to sky here started, now, do a few more here just to kind of get the transition, and then we'll start trying to piece together whatever the next move is. Now, if you hear suggestions from folks, please let me know, because
I'll let you know.
I'm winging it right now. So I've never done this before. Never done this sort of thing before. How about you?
So do you think it's always the process that you like glue down what you want first and then grout it after it dries?
Yes, and this is unusual. If you were doing a tile, for instance, you would use a adhesive kind of tile glue, and you'd stick the tiles in their positions, and then once everything's all laid that way, then you come in and grout it.
Okay. Barbara says she's trying to make a bow and she's all thumbs, LOL. I said, I get that, because I can't make bows well either.
Do you have a bow maker, or you just, are you the maker?
Yeah, do you have one of those bow dabras, Barbara? Those are really cool. And it gives you an instruction sheet in there on all different kinds of bows you can make with the bow dabra.
place for this one right up in there.
So you're trying to leave a little space between all of them, right?
Yep, just a little space so that, and I don't really know what I'm going to use for grout. There's some regular grout like for tile you can use. It's got real fine sand in it, and you can buy it. Some of it says it's for 1/8 inch grout lines, and one it says for 1/4 inch. So it's got different mixtures for different spacings. So I just don't know if with these lines in there, is it going to take away from the, I'm doing this on glass for a reason. Thinking about maybe having a little light behind it and letting the light shine through, but the grout's it's gonna be opaque. So it's gonna block some of the light, but just in the line. So it's
Hey, Beverly, welcome.
Kind of like a stained glass window. You know, it's got those opaque lines in it where the lid goes between all the pieces. So Lisa told you a little about our day. Has anybody got anything exciting going on today?
It's real sunny and hot here, y'all. I think summer found us again. I was really wanting fall to find us early.
We haven't even got to August yet, Lisa.
I know, August will be so miserable in Tennessee.
I got a little triangle there with nothing in it. So I need either some dark glass or some light glass. Here's a tiny little triangle of glass. Let's try that.
One of these days, y'all, we're going to get it figured out how to use this second camera we have so we can do a split screen so that you can see our face, but then you can also see from another view what we're doing, which I think will be kind of cool.
I started to do that today. Now, one downside of it is it looks like, to me, that it's only going to be able to do it in landscape mode. And most people with a camera
Yeah,
phones
that's not good.
like to do it in
Portrait.
portrait mode. Well, that's not perfect, but the grout maybe will fix it. Yeah, I could try the super glue, but yeah, it scared me a while ago because I'd touch a piece down and it would be stuck instantly.
So, did you just sort of guess at what kind of glue to use, or did you do some research to find out what kind of glue to use?
I knew it had to be clear, and I knew that super glue is really good at gluing things like glass together if you've got really smooth surfaces. So I knew super glue would work, but I didn't know much about this Gorilla Glue to know whether it would really work well or not.
Hey, Janet, welcome.
And I can't really see comments.
That's okay, I got them.
You got them?
I got them covered.
All right. You're doing a better job than I do at that. I get distracted sometimes. So I think this is going to be kind of like a hill over here, but I don't know exactly when to start. I got a lot of these pretty colored pieces to make it out of, but I guess I better bring the sky down a little further. Let's see what we got here. Here's a big long one. No place for that yet. I guess nobody commented about how exciting a day they're having, huh? Well, maybe I'll glue my finger to the project or something to make it more exciting.
No, let's don't do that. Let's try to not do that.
Who among us have done any tile work before? Who decided to redo their bathroom one time and tile it themselves?
Dolly Albright's laughing.
I did we've got a room called a mud room that had linoleum in it when we built the house, and I redid it several years ago and put 1 foot square tile in it, and my knees hurt for weeks after that for crawling around the floor, so I decided not to do any more of that kind of tile work. It really turned out pretty good, but
Yeah, it did. It looks great. Y'all, this funeral we went to today was so uplifting. A man that, pastor that used to be one of our pastors at our church, came and did the service. And he had done the service for the lady who passed spouse when he died. What did he say? 17 years ago? 13 years ago? Something like that.
I believe.
And he said that Clorinda asked him then to promise to do her service when the time came. So he was there and did it. It was a very small gathering because they had moved from Nashville to Ohio about 8 years ago.
And when you're 99 years old, you don't
Right.
have that many contemporaries.
And originally she was from Memphis. And then one of her daughters lived in Ohio and the other one lives in Colorado. So because they had to transport the body back down here from Ohio, it took a little longer to have a service than what it normally would. But anyway, like I said, she was one day shy of turning 99. She was full-blooded Italian, little bitty, teeny, tiny lady. But I used to call her a Spitfire because I'm telling you, she was a character. And so Tom did an absolutely fantastic job on her service today. It was very uplifting. It was very comforting. I learned a lot just from listening to him explain a couple of the scriptures that he brought into it. And then Linda, our friend, it was her mom, she had decided that she thought she wanted to sing How Great Thou Art, one verse. But she wasn't sure she could make it through since it was her mom. And so, hey, Vicki Hoffman. So she kind of went back and forth, and so finally she kind of looked at me before the service and she said, "Why don't you sing?" And I said, "No, I'll sing with you. I'll sing harmony or something." And she looked at me so funny, like, "You would do that?" Well, I sang at my father's funeral and my mother's funeral, and that was hard. No, I didn't speak at my mom's. I spoke, but I didn't sing. But I did sing at my dad's funeral. And I sung at the mother of one of my closest friends' funeral. So I said, yeah, I'll sing with you. We're just going to do one verse. I was afraid she might, chicken out at the last minute because she knew it was going to be hard. Well, I thought they were going to be playing a tract of music in the background. And so she and I got up there and stood together, and the funeral home director was standing in the back, and she just said a cappella. And I said, "Oh, okay, no tract." And she said, "Nope." So I told Linda, I said, "You start since you're singing the lead, and I'll chime in on alto." And so she did it, and she did a great job. I was
It really was good.
so proud of her for getting through that. And I don't know, it was very uplifting. It's nice to go to a service like that where even though you're sad that someone has passed, to be uplifted, and it was just really a beautiful service.
All right, folks, the blue is coming together.
The blue's looking great.
But don't know when to quit. I don't want it to be all just dominated by the hill.
Don't over booger it.
I gotta decide when to quit, all right? And once this glue sets, there's no going back. See, let's change that.
Oh, Beverly, I'm so sorry. I'll be praying for you, sister, for strength. She said 3 years ago today was her son's funeral. So sorry.
getting a little bit of variation just out of these pieces. They
Yeah,
got
you are.
little different tones in some of them, but mostly they're the same. They do have bubbles and stuff in them that helps them though. They would wind up this pretty quick on the blues. Oops, that didn't turn out very well. I don't like it. I need a little triangle.
That was the dark glass from my mom's store too.
Yes, there was a border of dark glass around the outside, and there was a lot of these straight pieces that were
Oh yeah,
delineating some
okay.
of the different areas. I think she did have a flower of some kind in it. Yeah. Triangles are all too big.
What about if you turn it sideways? There's one laying on your glass down there. Looks like you could turn it sideways. Make it fit right up there.
Fit through the opening here.
What about under that other triangle one?
So you rotate that just a little.
The one right next to that? Oh, okay.
That might work for a little glue in there. I guess the grout will cover, as they say, a multitude of sins.
Yeah. There's another Beverly. Hey, Beverly Burns. Welcome, welcome.
That's what we're doing.
Y'all, if you haven't joined my Telegram, it's pinned to the top of my page, and I would love it if you would go and download that free app and join the Telegram. It's the easiest way to know when we're going live. I can just send a telegram out to everybody. Hey, Kathy Hess. Also, I had asked yesterday, and I'll ask again today, if everyone would please either personal message me or email me your email address. And the only reason I'm asking for that is so that if anything happens on this platform that we get shut down, God forbid, that I would have a way to contact you. I will never share it with anyone, but I just want to build a list so that I'll have it if I have to resort to emailing people. So you can, like I said, personal message, or you can email me at craftandcruise@gmail.com and spell out the word "and." Some of y'all have already done it, and I'm very grateful.
It's hard to find a quitting place. It just keeps on
Yeah.
being jagged ends sticking out. I guess it's okay for it to be a jagged old hillside. Way too much glue.
Tonight, you guys, after we get back from dinner, I will post pictures of the menagerie junk tree we made last night.
It turned out really good,
It was fun.
if I may say so myself. All right, are we ready for brown yet?
Yeah, I think so.
Maybe I should do a few more, bring it over toward this outside wall here a little bit.
So the brown is going to be the hill.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm envisioning. It's actually purple instead of brown, but we'll pretend it's brown.
It looks pretty brown from here, though.
So,
Now, if you needed to break some of those pieces to be smaller, how would you do that?
Well, with this you can do it several ways. I've got these nice little small channel locks that are pretty good if you just need to break off a corner or something. But there's always going to be tiny pieces of glass that break off with it, so I'd be kind of careful. You can score it and break it. But what I usually like to do is
We can't see what you're
I'll
doing.
put a rag underneath it and a rag over it and just tap it with something and break it that way. That way it collects all the pieces and you don't lose anything.
What were those tools that Debbie Rigg had that she showed for cutting glass?
There's some little snipping kind of pliers that are really good for this too, that just kind of, especially with ceramics like tiles, you can use them just to kind of nibble off little pieces or to break straight lines with them, because they're kind of like this, but they've got a sharp edge, kind of bites in, and then when you break on it, it breaks it along a straight line, and you don't have to worry about getting uneven breaks and stuff.
Hey, Sister Shelley Stacklin, glad you're
Shelley.
here.
All right, Shelley, we're doing a little pretend stained glass work. I'm gluing stained glass pieces down to a piece of glass in a frame, and then I'm going to come back and put grout between it, leaving about 1/8 inch gaps, and then I'm going to put grout in there, and then after that I'm probably going to put resin over the top of the grout once it cures good. But
So it's a mosaic.
yeah, it's a mosaic. That's what I meant to say.
Shelley Stacklin said, "You all are making this too hard," and then the laughing emoji.
Yeah. Well, I'm trying to make things more difficult, and this is
Hey, Denise.
this is phase one. It's going to have about 3 phases before it actually ends up being something a little bit different.
That's right. It's not gonna look like this totally when he's finished.
It's got a surprise ending. In fact, Lisa doesn't know the whole story on it yet.
Oh, well.
All right, I think you might be about ready for the darker colors. Shelley, have you had a good day?
And Denise.
And Denise.
Surprise ending, huh? Shelley says.
Yeah. Yep, it's going to have a little bit of a twist.
You know him,
It's
Shelley.
just kind of like my books. You can't expect everything to end the way it starts out. All right, this is the last blue piece, I think. I've said that about 3 times, but I keep finding new places to put them. All right, that's about half the frame done. Just about. And that's about all the blue glass too.
Went to my family reunion. It was okay. Good, Shelley. Good to hear.
No, that's all. That's all the blue I'm doing. Good thing I broke up some more. All right, here we go with the other. And I don't have any really dark glass. That's the problem. I wanted to make something that would be, it's like beer flavored. I wanted to make a place in the hillside that was darker than the rest, that would be representing something like a tomb. But I don't have any darker glass. I wonder if I took a round piece of clear glass and put a magic marker on the back side, if that would work. You think that glue?
I don't know.
What would the glue do to a magic marker?
Don't know that either. You may have to experiment with
Tell you
that.
what we may do. I may get my person who is on comments to mark this up for me, if I can find a magic marker.
In the brown zipper bag,
Brown zipper bag.
which should be maybe over your shoulder or somewhere. Maybe not.
Anyway, I'm going to turn over my assistant. This right here.
Yes.
I'm going to let my assistant, my apprentice crafter lady.
Shelley says, I have shelves and shelves full of sheets of glass. You can have some if you all drive up and get it.
And where we're going to be driving to?
You know where she lives, not far from Kathy D.
Okay. Ohio.
Well, you know, Shelly, he'll be going back up there at some point, not too distant future, for a job, I'm certain. So, we can do that, girl. And I'll take you up on that offer. Let me have it. I'll find the marker.
I don't think you have any in here.
Why,
I
you
think
just
these are
keep
fancy
on
brushes.
keeping on.
Whoa, we almost tried. Here's
See
your,
this
here's your
thing
piece
right here? See
that?
these markers on there?
Yeah, they got permanent markers now. All right, here's the first piece going on. We're using Gorilla Glue.
Now, what do you want? Both sides or just one side?
Just one. I'm expecting it to work. If it doesn't work, we might have to go back and do the other one, but I think it might work. And leaving a little border around the outside there. Might be better to turn the air conditioner off, Lisa, because when it gets quiet. Are y'all hearing a occasional when we
Here you
quit
go.
talking for a minute? Does it get noisy on the background? If it
Let me
does,
just turn it off.
I'm thinking that's an air conditioner function.
Now,
That's better. Suits me better. All right, there's two pieces.
you think that's going to work?
We'll have to see how the glue does when I get to a place.
I'm not going to put my marker up yet.
Good idea. Shelley, with all that stained glass, have you done stained glass work in the past?
She said, alrighty, let me know then. She has done stained glass. She told me that.
Okay. And it probably is easier than I'm making it. But, and real stained glass is completely different than this, but this is Rodney's version of it. So, I'm also going to have to figure out where to put the little cave.
So here's another question I thought about.
You're
Real
always-
stained glass is a pain, Shelly said. Is glass like that, this colored on both sides or colored all the way through? It's not like a different shade on one side than it is on the other?
Some of each. I broke some of these earlier, some of these yellows.
Mm-hmm.
And if you look at them on the edge, you can see that they were done with a take of glass that was not all yellow,
Ah.
like this one.
Mm-hmm.
It's got yellow on both sides, so they probably had some clear glass and then put some yellow on top, and then they flattened it out into a sheet.
Oh, I see.
Oops, that's the wrong color. That's root beer color. We don't want that.
My parents moved into that house that they built in 1974. So next year it will have been 50 years since that door was put in there. I have been, Shelly said, I've been to stained glass plants and watched them make the sheets. The coolest process, but very hot. Ooh, I bet it is.
I've done a little glass work. We had a neighbor down the street here who made, he had his own kilns and
He blew glass.
he blew glass. And went down there and he said, yeah, jump in here and help me. So I worked with him for a day down there. Irving Slutchfer. Very nice fella.
He was a nice man. I actually made a stained glass angel years ago at Ridgecrest Baptist Conference Center in Ridgecrest, North Carolina. And we put this silver, what was that stuff called? It was almost like silver tape that you wrap around the edges. And I don't know, it was a really neat effect, but some of that
Was
silver
it glued or was it
has
actually?
started coming. Well,
Did you use heat to put it on?
I don't think we used heat, but I'm not positive.
Yeah.
Shelly said blown glass is very hot for sure. I only get hot when I solder pieces. Gotcha. That's what it was supposed to look like, Shelly. whatever that was that we put around that stained
Yeah, it's
glass
supposed to look
angel
like
was supposed to look like solder.
Yeah, and you can, when you're doing stained glass, you buy a strip of an extrusion of material that's
Yeah.
got that basic shape, and you put the glass in it. But then when you get to intersections, you have to.
Right.
At some point, you gotta put a little solder on it, piece it all together.
Now, are you gonna try that dark one that I painted?
Yeah, when I decide where in the hill to make it, I think I'm gonna make sure I put it a little toward the middle. So
I think I'd lay it down first to look to make sure you're gonna like it. So it's not just like a, see, that's so dark.
it's okay. I think it's gonna work. It's gonna be like a. People wonder why. Look, I got a nice curved piece. It's gonna match with it. Look at that. I just got to find a good place to put it in there.
After you cut the pieces of glass, you use foil to wrap it, then solder together. That may be what we did. Barbara said, my pastor's wife redid an old historic house in town, and she made her own stained glass windows gorgeous. Oh, my word, I bet they were, Barbara.
There's not, there used to be several places around town that did it, and it's hard to find somebody now that does stained glass. We've got a couple of cracks in our front door. When we built our house, we designed a stained glass front door and matching side panels on the walls to go with it that are all stained glass. And over the years, 34 or 5 years now that we've been here, with kids running into the door and all kinds of things, we've managed to get a couple little cracks in the glass.
Yeah, I'm about ready to change the door out. We're going to paint the outside of the house, and I hope we can change the door out at the same time. Shelly says, I have two 28 by 34 panels I made to hang in my living room, huge windows. Goodness, Shelly, how long did it take you to make those?
And the answer is?
Would love to see what they look like.
Right.
1 month of working daily.
Ooh.
Whew, girl.
That's why they charge so much for those things.
We have a friend that lives in Alabama, and I don't even remember what his job was before he retired, but he started working in stained glass before he retired. And I've seen pictures of some things that he's done that are absolutely gorgeous. He's also hiked most of the Appalachian Trail.
Who's that?
John.
Oh, McPhee.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he retired very early, too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he did.
He retired at probably 50 or something. Not a bad plan. You can do it.
That's right. Why do I hear an air conditioner on back there?
Because that's the one I've been running. You turned on the other one. That's why the bus was cool when you got here today.
Mm-hmm.
You were happy.
I'll have to see if I can find the pics on Facebook of those windows my friend made. Yes, I would love to see those.
Oops.
When you look, Shelly said to sell stained glass, you charge $200 an hour plus material. People don't really understand what the process is of doing stained glass. I bet they don't. There's no price you can really put on the talent either. $200 an hour. Wow. I can send you a pic on Messenger. Please do. I would love to see that. It's looking good, Rodney.
Thank you. Trying to kind of make a lot of small pieces around this to kind of make it appear as a focal point. And I guess these little sharp pieces around here would be good too. They're kind of a subliminal thing there.
Hey, Shelly, if you send that picture, it may not come through right now because my phone's on Do Not Disturb since Rodney is live from my phone and I'm watching comments on his phone. But when I turn Do Not Disturb off, it should come on. I should be able to get them.
Calm down.
I won't send until Rodney's done. Okay.
You wouldn't want to disturb the artists that work here. You know what I mean?
No way, no how. I wouldn't think
I mean, this,
of it.
to me, it looks a little like a kindergarten.
Well, you don't
project.
have any grout in it, and you don't have the other part on it that you won't tell us what it is. So you got to give yourself a little break.
Okay. Consider me broke.
I'm just wondering what you're going to do with that black circle in the middle.
That one?
Mm-hmm.
It's there. I already did it.
Barbara said, no, don't disturb His Majesty.
There you go. She remembered that from the.
That's right. That's the
remembered
right
my-
pronoun, Barbara. You got it.
Remembered my pronouns.
Shelley said it's looking awesome.
Well, thank you, Shelley. Yeah, the preacher today at the funeral was talking about pronouns too. He mentioned that. He said that there was some relevant information in the Bible about pronouns that.
He's talking about the 23rd Psalm.
Yeah. That halfway through it, the writer changed pronouns. Not in a bad way.
For those of you who are on here who don't know, when someone asked my husband recently, so what pronoun do you identify with if it's not a male? He said, just call me Your Majesty. Which, oh, by the way, this woman does not call him Your Majesty. Your Highness, maybe. Haha, Rodney, Shelley said. Y'all, I have to tell you something Pastor Tom said today. It was hilarious. So, when my friend Linda got up at the end of the service, I just wanted to thank everybody for coming and, appreciated them. And she was kind of holding on to Tom for some support. And so she, kept talking. And finally, Tom goes, her mother's name was Clorinda. Said, it said, Linda, I think Clorinda is speaking from heaven saying that we need to wrap this service up. And so she looked at him and she said, no, you're trying to tell me that I need to be quiet. And, everybody got a chuckle out of it. So anyway, we get to the place where they're going to bury her. And Tom said, this is just going to be very, very brief. And so then some of the family were trying to take pictures and they were talking about the flowers and how beautiful they were. And I said, Tom, I think that I hear Clorinda from heaven saying that you need to get this done and be brief. And he said, yeah, I guess I'm going to have to do like Henry VIII. After about 6 wives. What did he say?
Yeah, how's it going?
After about 6 wives, he said
to wife number 6.
He said wife number 6. Yeah, I didn't keep them hanging long. So he even cracked a joke.
All right, we're getting it pieced together now.
It looks good.
I decided it was okay just to go ahead and put a little glue down instead of every little dot for each one individually.
It's probably a good idea. It's
Smear
going to
it
take it a little
around.
bit to dry.
I need to break this off a little bit. Yeah, anytime you're working with glass like this, you do need safety glasses on. My glasses are safety glasses. Side shield wouldn't be a bad idea either. Because a couple little pieces of glass in your eye and it will ruin your whole day.
Yes, it will. Shelley said, are you going to resin over it?
Yes.
Yes, he is, Shelley.
That's the plan.
The plan, Stan.
Okay, the first phase is to get the glass down. And the way this is built, this frame has rivets on both sides, so I can actually put two pictures on the same one. I can flip it over and have one on the back. So that's part of the plan. We're going to do that. And
she said it'll look fabulous. But then there's going to be even more, Shelley. Some big surprise that apparently even I don't know about. Barbara says, can't wait to see the finished product. Beautiful.
Thank you.
Shelley Sacklin said, ooh, I like surprises.
You know, like those commercials when they tell you what a deal it is, and they say, but wait, there's more.
Yeah.
That's kind of how this one's going to be.
There's always more, but wait.
But wait, there's more. Hope the glue
that's a perfect fit.
doesn't get over the edge and run down in there and glue it into the frame too
Get
quickly.
lots of hearts in up, Rodney.
Well, thank you, y'all. Oops, too wide.
Here comes some more hearts.
Yes, it's one of those heart days.
I heart you.
I'll tell you what, I was listening to a rock and roll station today, some oldies, and it was so fun listening to those old songs and trying to figure out that even today I don't know what the words were. probably sang along all my life to the wrong words.
Man, you're getting lots of hearts.
But they were, I mean, it was a real familiar song, and I realized, you know, when I was trying to follow along with it, that it didn't really sound like they were saying the same things they used to say. So whatever I was singing along years ago apparently wasn't right.
Hey, Susan Bennett Brent.
Oh, we're just about to wrap this up now. If I can find the right pieces to close everything in. Too big. Oh, here's the long one.
Some of those songs didn't necessarily have great meaning in the lyrics either. Hey, Laura Diller.
And there was a lot of speculation, a lot of, you know, they consulted with the writers years later, and some of them even then wouldn't say for sure what the lyrics were supposed to mean. Let your imagination take the wheel, I guess. All right, I'm going to move this one down a little bit. Drop this one in. Can't tell if it's flat. Yeah, I guess it is. Oh, there's a space right there.
Now, what about right to the left, I think, of that black circle? Yeah, right there in that little space.
I just put one in it.
You read my mind. Lots of hearts.
I think I still need something else in that little tiny place there.
I'm sitting here, Susan, watching my husband do his crafting before we go to dinner with our friends. We had a funeral to go to today, and we're going to go out to dinner with the friends that are in town for the funeral. What are you doing? Glad to see you. Spread to my story. Last time I got 49 hits before it expired. Wow. That's awesome.
All right. That is pretty well pieced together. So we got the sunshine, we got a little bit of sky, we got what could be perceived as a mountain, and we got a dark spot in the middle there that we'll, if people ask, we'll tell them that is a tomb or a burial spot.
So can you turn it around and hold it up?
I don't want to hold it up too straight because they might all slide down to the bottom.
Susan saw you at Ace Hardware a few days ago. Are you kidding? Did you say anything to him? Girl, you got to tell him who you are.
Yeah.
That looks good. I love that teardrop piece in the sunshine.
I thought that was kind of a, people can read into it whatever they want to.
That's
I feel
very
like I need to.
clever.
I feel like I need to go ahead and reveal a little bit of the next thing, or should we just quit at this?
No, I think you should. I mean, can you give them little hints or something without telling them the whole thing?
I don't know.
Well, you already know he's going to resin it, so that's not a surprise. You already know that he probably will put grout in there. He hadn't decided definitely, so that's not a surprise. So, I mean,
I guess I better not show any more of my hand here just yet. We might have this just be a short one. That'll give this time to dry overnight. I might even go ahead and resin it. Now, when I put the resin on, it's going to be stuck in there forever, isn't it?
Now, here's my question. Do you resin it before you grout it?
No.
Okay, so then you're going to have to grout it and let your grout dry before you resin, right?
Yes. And it needs to dry good because it's a water-based. So if it's got any water left in it underneath the resin, that wouldn't be good.
Susan, you're so funny. She said, no, I looked a mess. He went in and took a right. I was checking out.
Well, you're going to have to say hello next time. Of course, I may never see you in there again because I don't go in there but maybe once a month. But I was in there 2 times, I think. What did I go for yesterday?
He doesn't love all of their prices.
Yeah, they're too high, but, I had to buy this thing that Lisa's Tree had to buy that tomato steak thing.
Oh, yeah, we got to show
yesterday.
you all that. I still
And the
don't
day
think it's got
before,
enough at the
A
bottom.
couple of days ago, I was in there to buy a little metrics nut to go on another project. Lisa, your projects are what take me in there all the time. All right. We got. Wait, I see another spot that doesn't have anything in it.
Oh, my goodness.
Right there.
No spots left undone.
I guess I may have to break a piece to go in there.
They are high, but so close. Yeah, they are close, Susan. But he'll most of the time. Show how you cut that. You're not in screen. I'd like to see you cut that.
And I'm going to try to. I'm just going to break this one.
Well, we can't see you.
Can you see me now? I'm going to break it. I don't want to
Now
break it over this because if there's any pieces, they'll fall down in the glue.
Well,
and then
move your box so we can see what you're doing.
It's moved. All right. With safety glasses, and of course, you got to have your gloves on like I don't.
You'll find him in Home Depot before you find him in Ace Hardware most of the time.
See, it's that little twist on there, and I broke the little piece off like I wanted to go in that slot.
Perfect.
Just put a little pressure on it and snap it. But when you do that, little pieces fly off to the side, so everybody's got to have their safety glasses on. And but most of the time, like I said before, I'll take a big piece, like one of these like this, and wrap it up in a napkin and lay it down. Then I'll take the back of the pliers or hammer and just tap it, tap it, tap it, and it'll break into all kinds of shards. And then you just piece them together like a puzzle. And there's probably better ways, but since this is my first time, that's my way.
Your way or the highway. Hey, my sweet Denise, Sterling Rose Art Creations. If y'all aren't following Sterling Rose Art Creations, you need to. She is so talented and fun and funny as all get out. And has a real good New York accent.
New York. All right. I'll drop a glue in here.
Denise, did you hear what Shelly and I were talking about last night when I was making my craft? And I had that organ pipe and I held it up to my mouth and blew on the whistle. But before I did, I held it up. It was a real long piece and I held it up and I said, what does this look like? Anybody know what this is? And people started guessing, and I think, was it you that said cigarette holder or something, or somebody said cigarette holder, and Shelly and I both said we could just see Denise right now with the cigarette in that long holder, sitting there saying, "Darling, can you get me a light?" Yeah, it was you. Oh, that was so funny. I could just hear you with that accent, "Darling, can you get me a light?"
All right. Better quit before I mess it up.
Okay, that looks good. So are you saying then that maybe tonight, later, you'll grout it?
I think the glue will be set up enough, so I have some grout in the basement. I don't know if I have white, so I'll check that out. And if not, when we're out to dinner, I'll get some grout. And we
Will
may
it
grout
dry overnight?
The grout?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if this is very thin, so it might.
And then,
But
if so,
you
then could you go on and resin it before you do the next step?
Yeah, because resin is going to be pretty boring, isn't it? You pour the resin on there and
Yeah,
then
I
you
don't.
sit there and watch
You
it for a
don't
day.
need to do the resin, but it'd be really good if maybe you could do the resin like in the morning, and then maybe tomorrow night you could come on and do whatever the big surprise is.
Yeah, and we could.
You did
we
a great
can.
impression. Thank you. Thank you, Denise.
We can also do another, because it's going to have a back panel of glass too. So we could do another panel of glass during that while things are drying. Wait,
It's going to have another
more?
panel of glass?
wait, there's more?
Of stained glass?
Yeah. You didn't expect me to start with one, did you?
Well, where are you going to put it?
That's why there's a rabbit on both sides.
Rabbit. I didn't see any rabbits. Did y'all see rabbits? I've got rabbits out in my yard. I didn't see any rabbits in here.
See? With a frame like this one, it's got to route it on this side and on this side. So I can put a different picture on both sides.
But then you're going to incorporate them together?
Yes.
Y'all, I don't know about this.
And that will get, so, yeah, we can do another, oops, excuse me.
You're going to break that glass and then you won't be able to do anything.
I got plenty of glass. I told them where it came from.
Okay, y'all, I'm going to take the phone off the stand so I can show you. Hold on. If you get dizzy, hold on.
Push a little button. There you go.
I'm going to show you. Hi. The project from last night. So we put that little fork tree that Rodney made last year as the topper. So here's one side. You can see it's got a few little crystals in it. It's got a totally dazzled key. And then I'll move around. It's got a big silver teapot there. Move around here. And there's another teapot. And there's some cookie cutters. Some more crystals. Wow, awesome. I missed that. Gotta watch the replay. And then I put some parts of handles of knives around the bottom. And then we have a funnel here. And why does my flashlight automatically come on?
No, Lisa.
A little creamer.
We have some things we don't know what they
Biscuit
are.
cutters. There's a sugar bowl.
Let me turn it.
This is some kind of little vent thing. Here's a silver butter dish top. I only had the top. I don't know what this is down here, but it's silver and kind of cool, so I put it on there. Here's part of a cheese grater we had Rodney cut the handle off of. And a whisk. And a can opener. There's another little sugar bowl up there. Can you turn it a little more? And then we've got a silver ice cream scoop. Candle holder. If anybody knows what this little bowl is, please tell us, because we have yet to figure it
I
out.
said a gravy bowl, but it's not big
It
enough
won't
for...
hold much gravy.
Maybe it's what you put your sabi spoon, your gravy spoon in, just to keep it off the table.
Maybe. And here's a salt shaker or a spice shaker. There's another, what's this called? Teapot?
Yep, teapot. There's another thing too. Oh yeah, the butter spoon. Somebody
That's
said.
right here. If you'll turn the thing just a little bit. This little shell.
It's a spoon. With a fancy shape
Somebody
to it.
wanted to know if that's a butter spoon. I've never heard of a butter spoon. That looks like one of my good forks.
Well, it could be.
So it's going back in the house. Here's a little strainer.
Got a can opener.
Here is.
Uh-oh, you knocked
Oh
something off.
man, I don't know what this thing is. Here's another piece of Totally Dazzle.
Just a spoon.
Here's a bent spoon. Here is a big silver spatula that's kind of tarnished.
There's some dingle hoppers on there.
And let's turn it till we find Denise's cigarette holder.
It's right along one of these edges here.
Just turn it a little bit. Let me see. Oh, here's a corkscrew too I put on there.
This is right here. It's all covered up.
Where is it? Oh yeah, here it is. See this gold part right here? And then it goes all the way down.
As it turns
Here.
where you can see the little bird's mouth on it.
See? That's Denise's cigarette holder. Not really. I'm just teasing.
It's actually
Just teasing.
an organ pipe. Listen.
Yeah, listen. Organ pipe. Got a small little bunt pan here. So, anywho, I think it turned out pretty cute. It turned out really heavy. So Rodney made this round base for it. And I guess when we get ready to carry it over to the porch or in the house, we'll carry it on that base.
Yeah, it's attached.
How much do you think it weighs?
35 or 40 pounds.
So,
We won't be shipping it.
the bus is kind of messy right now, but look at those clowns right there. Debbie Rigg, Sister Bill. Here's some of the things we've made lately on lives. Our book angel, our little Ugandan angel, our reindeer tray, our shell Christmas tree, and then our little fake fireplace that we. Isn't that so cute how it looks like flames going up? Decoupaged around all the sides. Oops, turn this other way. All right, y'all. So, thank you guys for. Let me see if I
Yeah,
can
thank y'all for putting up with me
turn
for
this camera
another
around.
session here.
Yeah, thank y'all for putting up with him. It's really hard. I know. I live with him. I know it's really hard to put up with him. We're trying, but sometimes, you know.
And if you have some suggestions for what we could put on the back glass panel, I haven't even thought about that one yet, so let me know.
Look at his desk, y'all. Look at all these pieces of colored glass.
Plenty to pick from.
Isn't that cool? You have everything you want to say, sir?
I like to say a word for Texas.
Okay, you guys. We're going to go see our friends. I love each and every one of you. I appreciate you more than you know. Remember, you can send prayer requests to craftandcruise@gmail.com. Spell out the word and please keep my friend Linda and her sister Connie in your prayers as they determine a new normal. And we will be on tomorrow to do something. Hopefully do something with his creation.
Maybe.
If not, we'll do something else. So I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.
Bye.